We have been treated to an incredibly magical F1 Sim Racing 2026 World Championship. A massive thank you has to go to all the drivers for entertaining us, and what a quali to wrap things up for 2026 we have had. Getting ready to go under the lights in Abu Dhabi. Back-to-back wins for Ismail Fassi. He was just 1,000th of a second off putting it on pole, but it is that man with 17 wins, more points than any other F1 Sim Racing driver. Freddie Rasmussen putting it on pole. Well, our attention turns now to that team championship, because it's now time to work out the three teams that have got a chance to lift the trophy this year. We start with Ferrari. We have Ismail Fassi and Barry Bourmont. Gentlemen, I'm just going to squeeze in right here. Starting in P2, Ismail, 2 wins. It has been feliz cumpleaños. It's been a beautiful birthday week. What would make it extra special for you tonight?
Well, first of all, I would say securing P2 in the driver standings, also P3 in the constructor standings, but that would go crazy if I win the championship, obviously.
We look forward to that. And Ismail Fassi going crazy for a championship. Barry, so good to finally have a little chat with you after your win back in the competition. Looking forward to one tonight. Can you enjoy this race?
Yeah, I mean, we had a really good qualifying. The form was really on. I think we qualified top 4 in every race, and obviously, with Isma has something to fight for, so we just prioritizing him. And yeah, I think we will see what's going to happen.
Incredible teamwork from you two gentlemen. Head on over to the rig. Joining, we have got over there the Jonah and Oscar team engineers. What a season it's been for Ferrari. Trials, tribulations, challenges, but delivering when it matters. So there we go, 2 wins. Can he make it 3 out of 3? We move on to our next team in the team championship. Can they make it 4 championships in a row? We'll find out as we welcome Jarno Opmeer and Freddie Rasmussen. A huge cheer from Jarno Opmeer. Gentlemen, before you go into your rig, 17 wins apiece. What would it mean to you, Freddie? Pole to victory, making it 18 wins. Do you even think about that right now, Freddie?
It would be nice. It would help to win the constructors, but yeah, a win or not, the focus is to win the constructors.
I love that. Focus is on winning the constructors. And what would it mean to you, Jarno, 4 times winning it? No other team has managed to do that.
Yeah, it would be very lovely, of course. The aim is to score as much points as possible from P13. Win is quite unlikely, of course. But we're going to try and do our best and outscore Alpine, basically. I think Ferrari is still in it as well, quite far back, but it's definitely not impossible for them as well.
Well, best of luck and congratulations on the 1,000 points. We'll say goodbye to Jarno and Freddie. Incredible stuff from Red Bull as they head over now to meet Andre and Liam, getting ready for this race. What can they do? It's really going down to the wire. A team trying to stop them is Alpine with Otis Lawrence and Danny Berejne. Last in to the sim stage, Otis Lawrence, Danny Berejne. Look at this, I feel like I'm just in the middle of the height here. Listen, a great opportunity. Are you enjoying the feelings that come with having that pressure on you right now, Otis?
Well, of course it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a very hectic race, but I'm enjoying it. Let's see what happens. It's going to be very hectic. Hopefully, we can get the championship today, both championships. That's my goal. But yeah, I'm just going to focus on the race, not focus on the championship. Obviously, try and keep it clean, but anything can happen in these races. And firstly, I'm just really proud of the team. What we've done so far this year has just been absolutely amazing. I couldn't be more thankful with the team, with this guy here as well. He's such an amazing teammate, as well as Josh. We've done such a fantastic job this year, so we can be proud of no matter what happens. Yeah.
I'm sure the rest of Wales is cheering you on right now, and you should be so proud of that job. You've entertained us all. Danny Berejne, birthday. What would make this extra special for you starting in P6 today?
I guess everyone knows it. Hopefully I can finish on the podium, but hopefully we win both titles.
Well, there you go. You've heard it from the Alpine guys. Otis Lawrence and Danny Berejne will let you head over to your rig. Well, that is it. The 3 teams in with a shout of winning the team championship as they meet their engineers, Seb and Tomac, right now. Well, it's all set here on the sim stage, but if you're just joining us right now, you might have missed quali around Abu Dhabi. So let's have a reminder of what happened with Kai Piccini and Alex Jakes.
Thank you very much, Tom Deacon. With all the pressure of a final round decider, we had the final qualifying session of the year. And we began, funnily enough, with Q1. as they headed out on the intermediate tyres. That's how professional our editors are for this programme. They always show us the bits on the inters as well. The brake boards detonated, and then Kai, we got to the slightly more serious stuff, but not before Thomas Ronhaar went flying through the air.
I was going to say, I didn't know if the drifting was the serious stuff, but he was hopping over the curbs as well. He was putting on a show for us in the final qualifying session of the season. However, Jarno Opmeer wasn't finding it easy. Maybe all the pile pressing on a little bit now. He had to take a big, deep breath and a sigh of relief, but it was Jani Tormler who made it through to Q2, gave us a wave, unfortunately wouldn't go any further than Q2, but all the pressure and all the eyes were now on both the Alpines. Danny Beresnay had said over the radio earlier on in this qualifying session that he was struggling with the pace. It wasn't the pressure, he was just slow. So he was looking, hoping, praying, trying to get through to that Q3 appearance to help out his teammate and help out his team later on. Jarno Opmeer, though, on the other hand, he wasn't able to do so. A mistake around the final corner meant that Jarno Opmeer, three-time champion, was out in Q2 in 11th.
To Q3 we went with Freddie Rasmussen with a superb lap on his first run. But who would improve at the end? Ismail Fassi got close, but not close enough. He missed out by 1,000th of a second. No way the verdict, and you can understand why. All of that distance, all of those corners, and after 16 of them, 1 millisecond separating Rasmussen from Fassi, who was 200ths of a second ahead of Otis Lawrence, his rival for the title. Rasmussen on pole for the final race of the year, then Fassi, Lawrence and Burrament. That is going to be fascinating. Ronhaar, Beresnay, Pookie, Butcher and Ozelderim. Ruben Pedreno completes the top 10. Then it's Jani Tormler, Jake Benham, Jarno Opmeer in the middle of the pack. Will he go aggressive with the strategy from 13th? And it's Gal, Longate, Hoffland, Prosen and Tycho Hardy completes the field.
Well, what an interesting field we have, an interesting order indeed. And looking down in the studio, Tom gives us a wave, and that means that he has something to say. Over to you guys in the studio.
Thank you so much, Guy and Alex. Couldn't do this without them. Brilliant commentary that they've brought throughout the 4 events as well. It's so exciting. Here we are, meeting the drivers as they come out. It's the final moment. It's nice to talk about it, but it's actually about to happen, Nicola.
This is happening.
Yeah.
It's been a joy being a part of this journey this season, and now we're here for that final race. I can kind of feel the tension in the building. I do know that Brendan Lee sat next to me is feeling very nervous right now.
No, the Brendan Lee, 2 championships under your belt. Surely you're not nervous.
I am.
Yeah.
I can imagine what they're feeling, and I've been fortunate to go through those emotions myself. So, you know, they could walk away very happy, but also the flight home or drive home is very long if you don't get the result that you want.
Yeah, and I know you sim racing drivers stay in that zone, especially when there's not another race, because after this race, there's an off season, there's nothing to do. Or is there something to do, Brendan? What can the sim racing fans out there who are like, come on, I need my fix. How can I get involved?
Well, they can join actually the Ferrari HP Esports Series. It will be coming to the Formula 1 game for the first ever time and returning this season, or year, I should be saying. I always think of seasons and years as the same thing. Yeah. But ultimately, come and join us. Join in the team, see if you can qualify and get on the Formula 1 game as well.
What better way to show your enjoyment when getting behind the sim rig yourself? And way back in 2017, when you saw an opportunity, a call for all sim racing drivers to get involved. Do you remember that day back in 2017?
August 17th, 2017. I remember where I stood as I was working as a chef at the time. The opportunity Formula 1 gave me changed my life, and it's cool to see Ferrari bringing that initiative and hopefully going to change someone else's life as well, for the better.
I love that. And by the way, really looking forward to reading your book. Real obvious plug there. However, as we turn, bombshell. Right now, we saw it in the race around Interlagos, and that was Barry Burman, the whole holding Otis Lawrence back as long as possible, sandbagging. We called it. it's been revoked. It has been revoked. So so this is what it does to the Drivers' Championship. It's changing constantly, which keeps me on the edge of my seat. It's been revoked, rescinded, however you want to look at it. It doesn't apply. He was given a 3-second penalty, or was it a 1-second penalty? I forget now. There's so much going on. But basically, 3 second, I was right. Should have trusted my gut, as these drivers need to do on some of these corners coming up. But it's been rescinded. That's what it does. So it's Otis Lawrence 146 points to Ismail Fassi's 129. So it's back to 17 points, the difference. That's just thrown an absolute curveball to situation. I see you're processing it, Nicola.
I'm processing it because we were me and Brendan were discussing it just before it went live, and we thought, oh, maybe we don't know what's going on. But then I was chatting to Brendan about it, and we were both saying, how do you approach this as a driver? And Brendan said the words, I wouldn't tell Otis.
No. And why not?
Well, because Otis is in his frame of mind, and ultimately you want to stay in that frame of mind. If you have to tell him late in the race because maybe it's going to alter the championship outcome, then do it. But he's happy, he's confident. You don't need to rock the boat in this moment in time. No,
I mean, he's starting in P3. Just focus on that, finishing P3, and the job's a good one, essentially. So, OK, what does that do to the team's championship? Because there's a massive effect here for everyone involved. But then again, at the same time, just absolutely send it. I mean, nothing changes in principle. 3 points is the difference between Alpine and Oracle Red Bull Racing. I spoke to Jarno and Freddie. They're focusing on that 4th championship. At the end of the day, it changes nothing. Just be across the line quicker than your opponent. That nothing changes there. But the mentality during the race, I guess, would be affected, Brendan.
Well, it changes nothing about what you want to do, but it changes everything how you go about it. Because if you're, let's say, Red Bull in that situation, you see that now you're closer to your championship rivals. You become happier. If you're Alpine, you become sadder because you have more pressure. And it's all about what was the mental preparation and the mental zone you put yourself in, and making sure you stay in it and not becoming susceptible to outcomes within your control or without your control.
Well, I'm sure Zeb and Tomac will be keeping both of Danny Berezny and Otis Lawrence nice and calm. What happened in quali? Good question. Let's answer that for you right now as we have a little recap. The pole sitting lap. Talk us through it, Brendan. This is the moment where I get calm now with Brendan's voice.
So Abu Dhabi is very, very smooth, so critical on the steering wheel to make sure you keep that high minimum speed. Any sliding around will destroy your lap time potential. Up into the hairpin here, really easy to go wide. The track actually dips down at the apex there, so if you go wide on the entry, you'll never get it back for the exit. The reason the drivers stay to the right-hand side here is the painted surface is actually smoother than the normal track, so you're able to gain a bit of top speed advantage than braking over the curb on the right-hand side, simply because there's enough grip to do it, and you can open up the circuit a little bit more. Compromise for the exit, now full throttle as we go to the next DRS phase. Sector 3 coming up next, all about precision and not overheating the tyres. Dabble the brake, throw it into the left, and keep the car tight for the exit of the corner. Now, one of my favourite sequences in the Formula 1 game, the hotel section around here. Look for the right-hander, much more flowing than years gone by. Through the left, keep the throttle stable. Through the left again, keep the throttle even more stable, and we're going to go up to the final 2 corners of the lap. Could it be pole position? And we're going to be nervous. Final braking, flick the car over the inside curbing, and this is the pole position lap of Freddie Rasmussen, and what a one it was in the process.
Oh, it's just beautiful, isn't it? Isn't it lovely?
Stunning.
Yeah.
It's fast becoming my favourite thing.
Yeah, the Brendan Lee.
I really look forward to it.
Thank you so much for that. I just had a flashback to last year, the F1 race, and just before the Sunday night on Saturday night, cycling around the track with our cameraman just over there, Elliot. The chain came off about 5 times, so I hope that's fixed for next year.
Oh, okay.
It's infuriating. But what a circuit. Let's have a look at Ismail Fassi, the contenders right now. What does he have to do? He's coming off the back of 2 wins. There's not much else he could do. He's starting in P2, the front row. And this is a vent for those moments. He just got the overtake on Alfie Butcher, waited and got the job done.
what he has to do is disrupt Otis, because ultimately it's Otis's to lose at this moment. He has the points gap, so he needs to put pressure on Otis and try to force a mistake during the race, whether that can be strategy from the team or maybe damage the front wing of Otis, and vice versa. Otis needs to stay calm, cool and collected, and recognise that an average result for Otis would be good enough.
Okay, so that's what Ishmael has to do, and what's great about it, he's got his teammate there backing him up, and he's going to be starting in P4. Who's in between those two drivers? Let's just remind everybody, Otis Lawrence.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a repeat of Brazil again, and when you have a penalty rescinded, that makes it really interesting. And as we look here to what Ishmael was able to do in quali, missing out on pole by 1,000th of a second. We're watching in real time there, realising that I've missed out by 1,000th of a second.
That was so tight. And I spoke to him and Freddie immediately after. And it was something that was so tight. I mean, Freddie gave me very short of words, as he always is, and that's fine. But speaking to Ishmael, it was interesting to see. I don't think he quite clocked immediately how close that actually was. And he was so close to getting on pole, but still at the same time, he's feeling very positive, and he's just going to try and enjoy it as a race rather than a championship, and anything else is just a bonus, I guess. But we're going to see what's going to happen, because that starting grid, to me, is as exciting as it's going to get. That is full-blown Hollywood stuff right there. It is, isn't it? Those front two rows. I mean, you've got Freddie, Ishmael, Otis, Barry.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Who's going to be putting their hands in the concrete? Wet
know.
mix later on. We'll find out. The story of event 4, let's have a little look at this, for Otis Lawrence. It wasn't the best start, going around Mexico, going out, first time going out, not making it to Q3. And at that point, you're like, oh, is he going to get it done? His mood wasn't great at that point, was it, Nicolette? Then it was fine in Brazil. He was buzzing.
Yes, he was. Yeah, it's been a real up and down. 2 days, isn't it? I mean, it's been 3 races, but 2 days. It feels like it's been much longer. But it's been a real weird journey, I think, for Otis. Like, we're just watching him smile or not smile, smile or not smile. But I think, was he smiling earlier when he did the sort of walk-in? I feel it was a mishmash, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he's just enjoying all the feelings, whether they're the highs, lows, all of that sensation, because you might not get another opportunity to become a champion. So you have to just sit with it, just enjoy the highs, the lows, you know.
All at the age of 18
as
well. I mean, he's so young. He could be the youngest world champion that we've seen. So I'm hoping that he's not feeling too much pressure on his shoulders, and he can just go out there and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're here.
Don't forget to breathe. That's the number one advice.
Deep breaths, Otis.
Brendan. Okay then, that's Alpine. They're currently top of the team standings. The team chasing them down, and there's not many points in this, is Red Bull. And you look at them as a team, they needed to have a good event for, and I feel like, apart from not winning, they've done the best they can.
Red Bull are rock solid in F1 sim racing. Like, they really have been the standard for the teams to beat for multiple years, and it's going to be hard to beat them. And if Alpine do, honestly, full respect for them, but they're going to be on the A game. Both Alpine, Red Bull, and their strategy decisions at Red Bull have always been A-class.
I mean, it's just fascinating. The two-stopper that you predicted, Jarno did that so close to maybe a couple more laps in it. He might have had a chance of winning the race, but you can't write him off. And then he's starting in P13. Again, it's Jarno Watman. You can't write him off in this race.
Well, the thing about Jarno is it seems like the more adversity he has, or let's say the more aggravation he has behind the scene, even more that he performs better. The more reasons you give him to lose, the more he wins almost, you know? And that's actually such a cool trait to see, because you see him fired up, you see it in his eyes, you see it in his body language as well. And really, I'm seeing that quite a lot in this final event, where his shoulders are out and he seems more like the Jarno that I could never beat.
Yeah. We haven't got time to open up that can of worms, Brendan. We just haven't got the time. We just haven't got the time. But a real privilege, I'm sure, for all of those drivers to race alongside or against the GOAT. Okay, I've written it down. Going to get a prediction. Who's taking the championship?
You've written it down?
I've written it down. I've got my my guess here.
Okay.
Who's going to win the championship?
Are we going for it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's going to Otis. I do. Yeah, I'm going Otis. Oh, yes, I'm sticking with Otis.
I don't want to jinx any of those drivers out there. Brendan,
I know.
what about
I feel
yourself?
bad doing this. This doesn't quite feel right to do, does it?
Well, I have an awkward situation because I'm really good friends with Otis, and he's probably the driver I speak to most outside of like all this, but I'm also a Ferrari ambassador. So I'm going to pick myself to win the championship.
It's not, I mean, that's outrageous. I mean, you expected that from Brendan, didn't you? You expected that sort of answer. My answer is the right driver will win the championship.
You just threw me under the bus.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you just threw me under. I cannot believe you just did that to me.
However, let's talk about Abu
Ishmael could also do really good things.
We've already spoken about the contenders. Sorry, Nicola. That's who the people think it's going to be Otis at the moment. Abu Dhabi, incredible track, incredible to cycle around when you haven't got a chain coming off all the time. It's incredible to run. It's incredible to watch so many finales we've had over the years right here. What do we like about this track, Brendan?
High, fast-flowing, precision, and with the new modifications that came in 2021, a lot of opportunity to overtake and change the strategy and course of the race, and normally championship decider as well.
Championship decider, which Nicola thinks will be Otis.
I didn't. Well, you know,
did.
You did.
Do you know what I
yes,
think?
I did. Yes.
I think I've got the fact that Freddie might win this race. I think Freddie will win this race, and after that, we have got no idea what happens. However, when it comes to predictive pit stop strategy, I turn the attention to Brendan Lee. Come on, talk me through this.
So, let's say the most normal strategy will be starting on the mediums, going around lap 10 to lap 12. Alternative will be starting on the hard. Those who want to help out those championship teammates may start on the soft to gain track position and also gain the undercut advantage.
Okay, and I saw they're starting on the softs. Who's going to be doing that? From what position on the grid will someone be trying that?
I reckon Jarno will go for it, Barry will go for it, and I think Daniel Beresnay will go for it.
Oh, the drama.
I know, I cannot wait for this. Talk about drama. It is all about to pop off, and the two men calling this race, Kai Piccini, Alex Jakes. I don't know about you, but I'm jittery with excitement, nerves, trepidation, but I just can't wait to find out who's going to be the champion.
It is time to crown a champion, Tom. This is going to be epic. We've got crazy strategies being predicted by a man who has been there and done that. It is time to find out who succeeds after an epic contest that has only run over 2 months, but so many times and so many hours the drivers have dedicated their lives to this. Tycho Hardy is in 18th. Joris Krozen is in 17th position. Next up, we have Duncan Hofland and Nico Longay. We move to the next row, and we'll see Thomas Gau and Jarno Opmeer. Could he go for the soft tie? Jake Benham is in 12th. Joni Tormala is in 11th position. And he finds himself in 11th. Ruben Pedreno in 10th. Ulas Ozildirim in 9th position. And next up is Alfie Butcher. Istvan Pukki is in the Williams and in 7th place. Next up is Danny Beresnay. Thomas Ronha is in 5th position. The drivers are preparing in these moments as we tell you Barry Bormand goes from 4th and Otis Lawrence is the championship leader. He goes from 3rd on the grid. And our front row, Ismail Fassi trying to take his maiden title. He's alongside a man who did just that. One of the names they're trying to join, Freddie Rasmussen, is in 1st place. In a line, Kai, tell us the nerves.
They're going to be high. They're going to be high. Nerves are going to be high. And it's all on the line here. Freddie Rasmussen taking it away from the front row. Otis Lawrence trying to defend his championship position. And Ismail Fassi, the challenger, the underdog. Can he do it? We'll find out in about 29 laps time.
It is going to be an all-out fight. Teammates are about to play a role. Red Bull versus Alpine for the team championship. For Otis Lawrence or Ismail Fassi, we're about to add a new name to our champion roll call. It's time to crown a champion. 5 lights go out and we go racing to turn number 1. Freddie Rasmussen gets the launch off the line that he needs. Ismail Fassi in 2nd. Otis Lawrence challenging his rival for the title. They go through the first turn, hardly separated at all. Rasmussen, Fassi, and then Otis Lawrence. Barry Bormand is in 4th position. Then it's Danny Beresnay, Thomas Ronha, Pukki and Butcher as we go to the braking zone at the hairpin on this opening tour. And we're on board with Barry Bormand, who's got medium tyres on the car. No one went for the aggressive soft tyres. They didn't think it would last. As we go through the brake marker boards, it's Freddie Rasmussen with the lead, then it's Ismail Fassi, and Barry Bormand looks like he's got a run. He has got a run, and he forces the defensive move from Otis Lawrence. The top 4 barely separated.
Boromund already piling the pressure onto 18-year-old Otis Lawrence as he chases down Ismail Fassi in front. Lawrence knows he doesn't need to go for anything silly though. He needs to keep this car in a straight line and finish within the top 5, but he goes to the outside of Fassi. He'll go the long way round.
It's a grippy tyre. It should be better on the inside. It's medium, Fassi's hard. Fassi on the hard tyre that's brought him to victory off the starting line. And it's Otis Lawrence to the apex first. Will they make it through? The two of them still side by side. Brilliant driving from Ismail Fassi, and still they can't be separated.
Lawrence has to back out of that one. Fassi is not going to let that go. He knows he's on the slower tyre. He can race this race. He needs to push Lawrence to the limit and also push the life, squeeze the life out of those medium compound tyres. Now he has to go defensive as Boromund applies the pressure from behind. Split strategy here from the Ferraris, so they're able to work off each other, bounce off each other, and keep Otis Lawrence in the middle. That's exactly what Ferrari want. Pinned to the inside white line. Boromund to the outside. Same compounder tyre, same grip levels. Can he get a better acceleration? No, he can't. Lawrence is going to hold on to third for now, but DRS is now brought into the equation. And down this back straight, does he have the deployment to attack, or does he have the deployment to defend? Defence is the only option here for Otis Lawrence as they go into the braking zone once again. Outside turns to inside. Boromund's going to try and stick it through. They bang wheels, nearly going sideways as Lawrence, but he just about keeps this one straight. Fireworks already in Abu Dhabi.
They're separated by nothing, and this time Boromund gets ahead. A massive moment in the title battle for team and driver. Ferrari, a line astern, and they played it to perfection in the last race. There was a penalty applied for the team tactics of Barry Boromund. It got thrown out, and now Ismail Fassi has the ultimate team player between him and his title rival. Fassi has a chance to improve, and it would still be good enough for Otis Lawrence, but he will be sweating right now. It is not comfortable. It is not done. And on lap 3, a massive moment for Ferrari.
Lawrence will just be having flashbacks to Sao Paulo right now. We know how strong this Ferrari pairing is. We saw it as they were battling their way through the pack in Mexico. We've seen it back in Brazil as well, with the backing up from Barry Boromund. And Otis Lawrence, if he wants any chance of holding on to this championship, needs to find a way past the second Ferrari in the order. Barry Boromund seems to be the ultimate team player, seems to love the play to the defensive game, but Otis Lawrence surely learns from last time. Saying that, Barry Boromund not seemingly going any slower than he has to, not backing off the Alpine, is he? More sticking with his teammate.
Well, remember, Barry Boromund was penalised for going beyond the limit. That was rescinded. So he played it perfectly. He was within the rules. They couldn't find any evidence that he'd overstepped the line. And if you play that team game, you've got to do it within the parameters. He did so. Congratulations to him. Amazing team player. At the moment, he is very, very close to Fassi. Let's go back to the drivers who make their way through the 6th turn, and it was very, very tight for Jarno Opmeer on the hard tyre.
Yeah, outbraking multiple cars there. Jarno Opmeer very brave on the brakes. So was Barry Boromund as he slipped to the outside of the Alpine. That outside very quickly turned to the inside with better traction and that inside line. Barry Boromund was just able to get the better drive. Slipstream, DRS, battery, you name it. And that is what found Barry Boromund into 3rd position. Slipstream from his teammate as well. Ismail Fassi lent a helping hand to make sure that their Ferrari pairing were both inside of the top 3 right now.
Well, that is a dramatic way to kick things off in the final round. Rasmussen, Fassi, Boromund find themselves in that order. Otis Lawrence, Danny Beresne find themselves 4th and 5th for the time being. And as it stands, it is going to be mighty, mighty close as we get to the finish. It's all in the balance between both championships. On board with Ismail Fassi, trying to make it 3 wins in a row to take the title, heaping the pressure on Alpine and Otis Lawrence.
A triple head clean sweep would be so ideal for Ismail Fassi right now, and realistically it's his only option if he wants to win the championship. He needs to win this race, but Fast Freddie Rasmussen's not going to let that one go lightly, is he? 159 points is your current live standings for Otis Lawrence, 12 points back to Ismail Fassi, so he's safe for now, and Freddie Rasmussen just out of that grasp of the championship battle. Still, he's going to want to end this season on a high. He's going to want to to win off merit, and Freddie Rasmussen looking for that 18th win to pip his teammate in the statistics.
Rasmussen takes us on to lap 5. It is Rasmussen ahead of Fassi, Boromund, Otis Lawrence and Danny Beresnay. In the team championship, if it stands like this, Red Bull would go back to back to back to back and take a 4th championship. Long way to go, though. And there is the car. Well, it's the other way round, according to our information. It is worth saying there's been quite a lot of alterations when it comes to the point scores at the moment. Otis Lawrence currently on for 12 points. Danny Beresnay currently on for 10 points. 25 being scored for the man in the lead.
Well, just a quick point on that. The 236 there from Red Bull, that's not including the pole point from Freddie Rasmussen. So if the pole point is taken into account there, the teams would be tied, and then it would go to count back on race victories. Then which way would it go? We'd have to crunch some more numbers. We don't have time for that right now because we have a ferocious battle on our hands, and Otis Lawrence is still looking very feisty in behind Barry Boromund as he'll try everything he can to put off his competitor, try every old tactic in the book, send a dummy, show your front wing in the mirrors, but Ismail Fassi just unfazed by anything going on in behind. He knows he's on the hard tyres, he knows he's on this long stint to start off the race, so doesn't want to put himself in a detrimental position.
It's lap 6 of 29. It is Rasmussen, Fassi, Boromund, Lawrence, Beresnay in the order. It's enough for Otis Lawrence to take the title as it stands, but it is not an easy margin considering we're still going to get those split strategies. And crucially, Boromund and Lawrence being on the same strategy is very, very interesting because that's what they were in Sao Paulo. Fassi's going to be going longer. He's going to have access to the fresher tyres later in the race. And Rasmussen, Boromund, Lawrence, Beresnay, they're all on the traditional route, if you like, starting on the mediums and moving to the hards.
Well, after looking at the data once again, if things stay the way that they are, Red Bull are currently leading the Constructors' Championship, tied on points, but they would take it on callback of race victories. They're both 3 apiece right now, but if Freddie Rasmussen takes home this race victory and everyone finishes in the same order, that would be Red Bull's game. They would take home the Constructors' Championship, so Alpine really need to get a move on if they want any chance of this Team Constructors. Jarno Opmeer, he's dancing on the edge of the points though, so he could play a big factor as well. There's so many things to keep an eye on here, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not sure those points are accurate, to be honest. We'll keep you updated to them at the end of the set. All that matters is that we get it right at the end. But at the moment, with the drivers, there's 17 points between them. But you're right, if it goes to count back, it would be 4 race victories for Red Bull, and that would be the tiebreaker. Would be very interesting if Ismail Fassi could improve, because then we would go to second places and it would swing towards Alpine. Here is our battle for the lead at the moment. Freddie Rasmussen is ahead of Ismail Fassi. Lap 7 of 29. Both championships on the line. And we find ourselves with Rasmussen ahead of this man who was second last year, and he's getting closer, and he's going through on the more durable tyre. Ismail Fassi takes the lead, and now the breathing room, it got a little bit narrower for Otis Lawrence because Fassi's on for 25 points, and the lead, the as it stands lead, is down to 4 points in the Drivers' Championship.
Freddie Rasmussen lifting and coasting, preserving his tyres. We're edging closer and closer to that pit window. That was predicted by Brendan Lee. Lap 10 to 12, he said, for the medium compound tyres before we see drivers start darting into the pit lane. Undercut is very strong around here in Abu Dhabi, so you have to keep an eye on what drivers are doing in terms of pit strategies. Just remember, tyre longevity, you are going to have to sacrifice pace, but is it worth it in the long run? You'll only know once that checkered flag flies and the finishing order is set in stone. Ismail Fassi leads the way. A couple of drivers diving into the pit lane off their mediums. Ulas Yildirim and Ruben Pedreño now make their way in. This is going to be a good test to see where the hard compounder tyres are at and where it's going to benefit them. 3 points between Otis Lawrence and Ismail Fassi. This is getting close for comfort.
It's lap 8 of 29. Ismail Fassi is getting closer. Freddie Rasmussen had the bonus point for pole position. That will be added to his total at the end of the standings. Ismail Fassi, Freddie Rasmussen, Barry Borremond, Otis Lawrence and Danny Beresne is the top 5. Alfie Butcher finds himself in P6, and then it is Pookie, Ron Ha, Opmeer and Benham as we find ourselves with the top 10 being troubled by Duncan Hoffland, Nicholas Longue trying to force his way in there as well, and we're waiting for those on the medium to switch to the hard tyre. That is the preferred one-stop route, and it was a question about whether we would have aggressive soft tyres to begin this one. Ismail Fassi doing all he can as it stands.
Question is Otis Lawrence confident in this strategy? Into the pit lane, here comes the first of the Ferraris, the only Ferrari on the mediums. Barry Borremond will now dive into the pit lane to cover off that undercut from any of the cars behind him, cover off the undercut from Otis Lawrence. He'll stick on these hard compounder tyres, make sure he has the track position over the Alpine, because the defensive work can be done later on. He doesn't need to worry about that right now. Get some fresh air, does the Ferrari, and then he can power on forwards.
Okay, it is lap 9 of 29. Fassi in a brilliant position, and his teammate with new rubber to put the pressure on. Remember, same starting tyre as Otis Lawrence. Otis Lawrence chasing down the title. He's got his teammate there for protection, and he might need that given how effective Ferrari have been at working as a unit. Freddie Rasmussen giving up the lead last time around. Ismail Fassi with the more durable tyre, and he's trying to improve. Now, the upside for Barry Borremond is that he's able to clear the cars quite quickly when they outbrake themselves, but it's very, very tricky to get by in the middle of the pack, and that's what we're seeing right now. If you can make efficient moves, he will use that new tyre advantage to close up on Otis Lawrence.
Yeah, big mistake there from Ulas Yildirim, just outbraking himself. He saw that Barry Borremond was just going to chuck a nose in there on the inside and maybe got a little bit scared of what was going to happen, making that mistake and ultimately losing out on the position. Also picking up an in-game 5-second penalty for track limits. We do know that some of the drivers will get that removed after the race then.
Let's hear from our drivers still in line to win the championship today. Otis Lawrence.
What's the gap between Freddie and Isma? 7 tenths.
I mean, he's ruining his chances going long. He's pushing.
Otis Lawrence discussing the state of the race at this stage, and he, at the moment, finds himself in a strange position for a sim racing event, in a drift with no DRS directly ahead of him, but thankfully it's his teammate behind.
Yeah, you can hear there from the team radio of Otis Lawrence. He feels that Ismail Fassi is ruining his race. He's ruining his chances by pushing hard out in front on those hard compound tyres. Since he has that long stint, needs to preserve the tyres that he has on his car for the longevity. But I would slightly disagree. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to disagree with Otis because he's the expert out there on the circuit. I'm not the one leading the championship. Barry Borremond picking up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Obviously, some of the in-game penalties do get removed afterwards, but Borremond is just carving through the field like a knife through butter. No problem for the prancing horse, Scuderia Ferrari, as he makes his way past the Mercedes of Tico Hardy. Nothing Hardy could have done there against those fresh compound hards, and Barry Borremond trying to get the track position and track place done early. So once those other drivers make their way into the pits and re-emerge, that Barry Borremond has that advantage and can then back up Otis Lawrence if needed.
Okay, it's well poised at the moment, and we find Ismail Fassi ahead of Freddie Rasmussen. Rasmussen in the wheel tracks. And Rasmussen on the medium. Lawrence on the medium, Danny Beresne on the medium tyre, Alfie Butcher on the medium, and so is Pookie. Everyone else finds themselves on the hard. Thomas Gao is the driver who has made his stop and has emerged ahead. Barry Borremond has that in-game penalty. Sometimes they get removed, sometimes they don't get removed. So that's a big question about whether he will have that penalty applied. Of course, it won't affect him for the rest of the race, so he's still in play to try and take track position.
Yeah, I don't think Borman's too bothered about that penalty right now. He's just bothered about arriving and passing, which is exactly what he does when he gets onto the rear end of Tamas Gal. Gal will now be demoted down into 14th, and another promotion for Barry Borman. He finds himself climbing up to 13th. Now with 11 seconds of clear air in front of him, he can just push on forwards and get the most out of these tyres that he has on his car. Into the pit lane comes Otis Lawrence, Alfie Butcher in suit as well. Now, where will Otis Lawrence re-emerge onto the circuit? We'll watch the pit stop, and it's a clean set of the white wall hards that are equipped onto the car of this Alpine. He'll now make his way back out onto the circuit. Is he going to be in front? Will he be behind of Barry Borman? Yes, we will find out now as he re-emerges. Otis Lawrence down at the back of the order. Borman has a huge upper hand.
Well, let's find out what we get out on the racetrack. You can see rejoining Otis Lawrence, predicting that he was going to ruin his race by going that early. Otis Lawrence now in the danger zone. Now, having made his stop, dropping down on the medium tyre, clearly using the pace that he will have and efficient moves is going to be massive now. Otis Lawrence will come across that DRS train. Barry Borman with the potential penalty hanging over him. We'll try and get word from race control whether they expect that to be removed or not. But for the moment, Otis Lawrence was such an important moment in his race. Ismail Fassi exactly where he wants to be. And we're still waiting for the stops for Freddie Rasmussen and Danny Berezne. And in we go. So big moment, and he comes. Freddie Rasmussen was in touch with the race lead. He goes for the stop. And this is massive for the team and drivers' championships, because Ismail Fassi had one close contender for the win when it was the medium tyres. He's made his stop. He hasn't got any close contenders on the same strategy as him.
The last thing that Otis Lawrence needs right now is traffic of cars in front that aren't involved in his race, and he needs to make his way through quickly in the fashion that we saw from Barry Borman out onto the circuit. Freddie Rasmussen will drop to the back of the order, but he will have fresher tyres once he comes to the latter stages, which seems to be crunch time. That's where it seems to be so crucial to have that extra life, and even one lap or two we've seen over the course of this season makes a huge difference in terms of what drivers are able to get out of their cars and get out of it in terms of performance as well. So not even half race distance right now. Lap 13 of 29, still a very long way to go. Let's go on board here with Jarno Opmeer, who was right up the gearbox of Istvan Pukki in front. Pukki back in for the race, but in behind Jarno Opmeer he goes. Braking zone, picking out his spot. Textbook move there from Jarno Opmeer. No trouble for the three-time champion.
Pukki hasn't raced in all of the races this year, currently running in 5th place, and he has the best result of P6. He is elevated to P5 momentarily, but he's now in the pits to get new tyres. Jarno Opmeer making progress, driver who started in the middle of the pack in 13th position. It's lap 14 of 29. Ismail Fassi looking really good for the win, but he needs more than the win. He needs that and a big twist for the title protagonist Otis Lawrence, trying to become our youngest ever winner of the title today.
Just one thing raising my eyebrows here, Alex. Danny Berezne, the last driver out on the medium compounder tyres here. What is the strategy from Alpine? What are they hoping for from Danny Berezne? Because if they're looking for just a result from the Hungarian, surely they would have boxed him a little bit earlier in the mandatory, not mandatory, but in the predicted pit window that we had for the medium tyres. We can see that the hards are so much stronger right now. So is Danny Berezne staying out there waiting for the opportunity if Barry Borman catches onto the back of him? But Borman is just so far back. So what's going through the head of Danny Berezne? What's going through the head of Alpine?
They are trying something different. So these are crucial laps then that we continue to watch. And this is catching the train. You can see Otis Lawrence, Joni Tuomela, Tico Hardy are ahead. You can see Alfie Butcher has caught the back of it. And out front, you've got Barry Borman. Barry Borman at the head of the train, and it is a train now as we come in with the other Alpine, Danny Berezne, coming into the pits.
Now makes his way in. Thomas Ronhart is disconnected from the session, so not sure what happened there for the Mercedes driver. Up at the front end, just in behind, is Van Pookie on his long stint, but Danny Beresnay will get those fresh hard tyres on the car and now make his way out of the pit lane. Otis Lawrence still stuck in this train in behind Joni Tormela. He'll want to see not the back of the Racing Bulls for much longer, but the rear end of the Mercedes would be much appreciated down the inside, and no worries there. He'll get to the inside, but fighting it round, he'll get the extra traction, and Otis Lawrence finds his way into 13th. A bit of anger in his belly. Will the Welsh Dragon roar later on? We'll have to wait and see. 2 in 2 corners, why not? Battling going on in front with Tamesh Gow and Ruben Pedreño going to blows as Lawrence slops his way past Tico Hardy.
He's got to make moves. If he wants the title, he's got to make the moves. He's got to get on with it, and that is the big game for him now. Can he put the hammer down, clear the cars that he has been ahead of all year? And then we get to Barry Borremond, who is leading this gaggle of cars ahead of Ilzilderim, Pedreño, Gow and Otis Lawrence, hoping to lose less and less time. Real pressure on his shoulders right now.
Yeah, big train here. One mistake and you are completely caught out. It's a complete domino effect here as Thomas Ronhaar makes his way back into the race and attempt into the final corner. You don't see that very often, but Tamesh Gow actually dives into the pit lane and decides to dispose of the tyres off his car. Into the first corner though, Freddie Rasmussen in the background. Remember, he was also up at the front end with Otis Lawrence before he made his way into the pit lane. Only a couple places in behind is Alfie Butcher. That separates Lawrence and Rasmussen right now. Rasmussen could become trouble for Otis Lawrence if he's not careful.
Otis Lawrence trying to clear the cars, and then will we see Lawrence and Borremond rejoined in battle? That is the big question. And if we see that again, will that go the same way as Sao Paulo when it was the team game? At the moment, the race looking good for Fassi. You've got Otmir going well, but they still need to make their stops. On board with Barry Borremond, who's getting on the charge, and he's racing Ilzilderim at the moment.
Makes his way past another. He's got some fast charging cars in behind him, does Barry Borremond, so you'll want to keep an eye in his mirrors, but make sure that he doesn't drive in his mirrors. He needs to focus on the circuit in front of him as he finds, once again,
into the pits. Sorry, Kai, into the pits. Our championship contender, massive moment coming his way. If you look at Fassi and his advantage over Otis Lawrence, it was 17 seconds when he hit his marks.
Yeah, good moment here. 12 laps remaining in the race. This was exactly what we expected. The distance of these hard tyres to make their way through. Barry Borremond, we just get news that he will get his 3-second penalty revoked at the end of this race. So that black and white warning flag, just pay no notice to it for now.
So out of the pits comes Ismail Fassi, and he will get access to the medium tyres. He's got his teammate heading this train at the moment. The title is still live. It is Fassi versus Beresnay, the two contenders. So the Alpine driver fighting right now for his teammate up against Ismail Fassi, who is being fought for at the end of this straight. Incredibly poised battle for Drivers' Championships and all of the repercussions for the Team Championships as well. And we spoke to this man earlier on, and he said, you can expect chaos. We've got it.
Ismail Fassi released into some traffic, but he's just making his way through with no bother at all. Signs of a champion, but will it become true as he makes his way past one car after another? Beresnay getting caught up here. He would want to be in front of Fassi right now to try and hold him up to the outside. Danny Beresnay, the Hungarian, makes his way through. Great move there from Beresnay around the outside. A tricky one to pull off, and it's now only a couple cars that separate Beresnay and Fassi. Well, nothing separates them now. So Beresnay needs to push to the limits to try and catch onto the back of Ismail Fassi as Fassi departs of another Williams. Pookie drops down into 13th. Fassi up into 12th. It's just the Red Bull of Freddie Rasmussen in front. These two drivers are battling for position.
All right, it's an open end to the season and then some at the moment. It is amazingly poised. Here's Freddie Rasmussen all over the back right now. Freddie Rasmussen applying the pressure, and look at the McLaren edging through, and the McLaren does edge through. It's Alfie Butcher versus Freddie Rasmussen with Fassi behind this. and there's not too much between Fassi and Otis Lawrence. There is Ismail Fassi around the outside. Look at the traction he's got with those medium tyres. He finds himself fighting past one. He's going to fight past another. And now our top two in the World Championship. And 9th and 10th, line astern. One driver on fresh mediums, one on slightly fading hard tyres. What a story this is going to be. Otis Lawrence needs the laps of his life.
Ismail Fassi, an average finishing position of 6th on the road for this final event. You can scrap that fact because it's looking to be a triple header if Ismail Fassi can keep up this pace. Unbelievable here from Fassi as he's now unleashed onto the back of your championship leader. Into the pits come Jarno Opmeer and Joris Grozin from the front end. Round the final bend we go. Kicking out wide goes Butcher as he battles on with the Red Bulls in behind as well. But Otis Lawrence, surely some sweat starts to form on his forehead.
Well, right now, El Zildarim has made his stop, and he is going to be our net race leader. And the Ismail Fassi penalty is going to be removed. The Barry Borman penalty is going to be removed. Kai's going to come back to the com box. He just took 3 steps back when that late lunge was attempted by Ismail Fassi, who surely has the traction. They've all got DRS. Will Otis Lawrence try and squeeze his rival? He will. Does he leave him enough racing room? Late on the brakes. Ismail Fassi going through. He's getting close to the back of the Aston Martin. Still Otis Lawrence won't give it up. But when it's a traction race, it's new rubber and it's Ferrari versus Alpine with the largest title that we have on the line. Look how close it is as it stands. That could get different. It might change because the Ferrari is through on fresher rubber.
This all depends on how does Ismail Fassi execute this plan for the rest of the race. He needs to make his way past as many cars as possible. Butcher makes his way past Pookie. We're not worried about that battle right now, as Ismail Fassi is now unleashed into the pack of cars in front, and Barry Borman is just separated by Ruben Pedreño. If both the Ferraris work together here to push forwards in the pack, Otis Lawrence is still shy of the top 5. He needs a top 5 finish. This is what we were discussing before the race, and Otis Lawrence just out of the position he would have been hoping for. With those pit stops, that promotes him. Fassi's in 4th, Lawrence is in 5th. Let's have a replay of this battle. Into 6th, just clipping the rear wheel of Ruben Pedreño, actually helping with rotation there. It was sideways on exit as he tried to plant the accelerator, but with that fresher medium rubber, it's the Spaniard in front.
Barry Borman in 2nd, Ismail Fassi now in 3rd. Extraordinary state of play that we've got. Barry Borman to the lead, late on the brakes and trying to get through. Otis Lawrence knows he needs to go with the Ferraris. He's trying to get past the Aston Martin man, the former Aston Martin man, now with Alpine, as El Zildarim, who went for the undercut early doors, now finds himself with the Ferraris getting closer. Oh, he nearly made contact. He goes around the outside of 1, make that 2. What a strategy, what teamwork. The lead for Ismail Fassi, and now it's over to Otis Lawrence to try and stay where he is.
Is it once again park the bus for Barry Borman? We'll have to see as Ismail Fassi makes his way into the lead. Now does his teammate play the defensive game? No. Ismail Fassi pulls over and lets his teammate through and lets Ulas Yildirim through as well. What's going on here? Everything's thrown out the window.
Was he worried about the way that he got past El Zildarim? He didn't want to risk a potential penalty later on. Has he given back the places to try and negate the threat of a penalty?
Let's have a look at the overtake once again. Eagle-eyed Alex, if he's managed to spot this one around the outside. I can understand why he's done that. Fassi, to be fair to him, he's a good competitor, good sportsman as well in the background. Otis Lawrence is trying to get some moves done.
Okay, Fassi's now retaking the place. So he gave it back, he came off the throttle, he's given the place back, he's going to get the race lead, his teammate can't win the title, he can. Did he give enough of the advantage back is crucial. Good call, sensible call on the radio from the Ferrari engineers, because then negated a penalty investigation that would have been hanging over his head for the way that he went by. He had so much speed around the outside, didn't have the room. Either way, gave the place back, retook, and now we've got Otis Lawrence with a buffer of 4 points in the championship and some very fast customers behind him. This is right on the brink. Does Otis Lawrence have the chance? Look at the melee. It is a melee right now. We have the Alpines outscoring the Red Bulls, but because of the park the bus tactics, the brilliant pass the bus tactics, I've got to say for Barry Borreman, who, congratulations on your Christmas bonus, Barry, because you have been sensational in these final 2 races. Ismail Fassi leads a Ferrari 1-2. Otis Lawrence looks likely to get past Il Zildirim. He looks like he's got pace at the moment, and he will need to, as it stands. Incredibly close between Alpine and Ferrari in this unbelievable climax to the season.
Berezne, his job here in behind Otis Lawrence is to cause as much chaos as possible, cause as many battles as you can, and keep the drivers from catching on to your teammate, as Otis Lawrence is looking left, looking right, darting, trying to find a move on Ulash Yildirim. He wants to depart of this Racing Bulls if he can. He may be the youngest world champion if he manages to secure this, but this is no child's play in terms of this racing ability, mature beyond his age. Berezne is causing a fuss in behind as all the drivers are just squirming, trying to find their way past the second Alpine, and Berezne does not budge.
Okay, it's Fassi, then Burman, then Il Zildirim, and Otis Lawrence, Benham, Butcher, Otmir, Berezne, and it is so close for Otis Lawrence getting up to that P3 that he dearly treasures, because he will want to make the move. The McLarens are rapid. When we get a moment, pretty chaotic gallery right now. When we get a moment, I'd love to see the tyre life on the left-hand side. Ismail Fassi under investigation. An extraordinary message with hardly any time of the season to go. He gave the place back trying to negate any penalty. Will race control still try it? Jake Benham is getting very, very close. He's got up to 3rd position. Otis Lawrence in 4th, Jarno Otmir in 5th. It's chaos. It's chaos at the end. Fassi, Burman, Benham, Otis Lawrence, the top 4.
6 more laps to go. Let's go back on board with our current championship leader. He looks behind, and that is a scary sight to see. Jarno Otmir, the Dutch sensation, the Flying Dutchman, who's trying to find his way up the order as well. Much fresher tyres, 4-lap old mediums. Surely there's no stopping a 3-time world champion with that advantage of making his way through. The other McLaren of, Alfie Butcher is not having the easiest time. Let's get a replay here of the move from Jake Benham. Otis Lawrence just boxed in behind Oz Yildirim, finds the outside line, finds the traction, gets the better acceleration, and with Oz Yildirim pulling into the pit lane, ultimately slows down Otis Lawrence as well. That's what allowed the McLaren through, as all the drivers in the mid-pack are just all over the place squabbling for position. This is a team's game, not an individual.
Otis Lawrence in 4th, but Jarno Otmir has much fresher tyres, and Ferrari can't believe what they're looking at. We've been talking about Alpine, we've been talking about Red Bull, but could it be Ferrari's day of days with back-to-back 1-2s to take the title? Well, it might change if Jake Benham, who we've been talking about the luck that he's had all the way through, if Jake Benham... Oh, Danny Berezne into the wall and out of the race.
That completely switches up the team standings. You may have seen Alpine in 2nd there, but not for long. Berezne is out. That was a huge points hole that Alpine needed. Let's see what happens here. Tries to get the switch back on Hofland. Banging wheels, nothing new there. Berezne has had to deal with this the whole race. Crozin tried to sneak through on the inside into the final bend. It was a brave lunge, and it was too much for Danny Berezne, collected by the Williams, and it's heartbreak. Hand over the face, head in hands moment. Danny Berezne is out.
Jake Benham has 2nd place. Extraordinary McLaren charge at the end. Jake Benham, who's had no luck at all this year, is in a position to put on the pressure. Otis Lawrence is in the 4th place he needs to take the title. We're in the final stages. It's Ismail Fassi ahead of Jake Benham. The dream of an Alpine title seems to have faded with that moment. Ferrari are trying to cling on. They've lost the 1-2, and here are the live standings. 4 points currently separating, but Jarno Otmir has fresh tyres. That could easily turn into P5.
Lawrence still negating the gap by 4 points just now, but Jarno Opmeer is like a looming cloud over the circuit. His Fampuki is going to be your second retirement from the race as he pulls into the pit lane now. Does the Red Bull driver of Freddie Rasmussen maybe looking to take home that fastest lap, which is currently looking to go the way of Thomas Ronhaar? 1 point is in it. Alpine Sim Racing on 2:26, Scuderia Ferrari on 2:27, but could it be more than 1 point? Jarno Opmeer to the inside of 6. He'll get to the apex, force him wide over the curb of 7. Otis Lawrence has to bow out, and that is just going to be more damage to the Team Constructors Championship, never mind the Drivers' Championship. Scuderia Ferrari now clear by 3 points, but Jarno Opmeer is not going to stop there. He's now going to attack the back of Barry Borremand. Everything's kicking off here, Alex.
It's unbelievable after all the racing that we've had, after all the hours that the engineers and drivers have devoted to this. It's all going to come down to the final laps of the last race, and Otis Lawrence is clinging on now. He is clinging on by his fingernails with an advantage that stands at the moment of a 2-point lead in the standings. After all this time, he came in with a 17-point lead after the penalty was rescinded for Barry Borremand, and look at what we've got. Nicholas Longuet could play a huge role in this championship. Otis Lawrence is on old hard tyres. They are fresh mediums. Otis Lawrence needs the laps of his life because he's on the wrong tyre in the wrong position. Can Otis Lawrence stay there, or are we about to see the greatest turnaround in terms of points we've ever seen in sim racing? Ismail Fassi has got the right tyre on at the right time. He's got the race lead. Can Otis Lawrence stay where he is, or are we about to see an unbelievable finish? Longuet now the key to the title.
Otis Lawrence, it's going to have to be 3 laps of white line driving. Nicholas Longuet with the tyre offset. If he gets this move done on Otis Lawrence, that will level the points between Lawrence and Fassi. Fassi then wins it on take-back, on race victories, with this being the 4th, with this being a triple-head victory at Event 4. Ismail Fassi is looking in prime position. If Nicholas Longuet feels like the move is on, but it's just 3 laps, that's all it sounds like. 4 minutes, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's all it takes for a championship to be flipped on its head.
What a moment this is for Otis Lawrence, who has seen his lead climb high and been whittled away, and as it stands at the moment, it is 2 points he leads by with 3 laps of the championship to go. Ismail Fassi has been downright sensational. Ferrari have been sensational. And Jarno Opmeer's not done yet. Longuet to the inside to change it all. And we are level. We are level on points. This is so important for Otis Lawrence. Ismail Fassi, as it stands, is going to win the title on countback. And Otis Lawrence needs something major in the final 2 laps, which we begin at the end of this one. It's Otis Lawrence level with Ismail Fassi, but when you look at the race wins, when you compare the race wins, it will read 3 for Lawrence and it will read 4 for Fassi if it finishes like this.
Don't forget, Alex, Ismail Fassi is still under investigation from the stewards, so pending that post-race decision, Ismail Fassi is currently your championship leader, but Jake Benham, 3.3 seconds is not going to be possible in the 2 laps. Otis Lawrence is just praying for chaos in front.
Hold on, Barry Borremand went aggressive. He went early. It's not done yet. Can Barry Borremand survive ahead of Otis Lawrence? If Otis Lawrence is able to go past Barry Borremand, he's back in position to win it all. They're off the road. Extraordinary. They're off the road. And now they're going to turn number 1, and Otis Lawrence is back in position to win the title.
I am very much a sit-down commentator, Alex, but I have been on my feet, jumping around watching this racing. This is exhilarating action and the perfect end to what has been an outstanding season. Otis Lawrence now leads by 2 points, and Barry Borremand, does he have the pace to respond? Is there anything left in the tank of the second Ferrari driver? Can he help out his teammate one last time? I don't think so, because Hofland's on the attack.
Jarno Opmeer is about to win the team's championship. championship for Red Bull Racing, which feels like a sentence that we should have seen coming, but we didn't see coming. Ferrari have been unbelievable. Remember Otis Lawrence's message on the radio: if he goes early, he will ruin his race. Well, Barry Borromond had the track position. He played the team game for his teammate, but he's slipping down the order. Now, improbably, we're about to head on to the last lap. And the thing that is going to decide the title is, can Duncan Hoffland on his fresh tyres do anything to get past Otis Lawrence? And I need a check from race control to see whether that in-game penalty is going to stand.
Red Bull were leading by 2 points. Nicolas Longuet has the faster medium tyres and one more lap. His pace on the Frenchman is looking unbelievable. If he manages to make his way past Jarno Opmeer, if I'm not correct, that would mean that Red Bull are once again dethroned from the championship lead. Ismail Fassi, it's set in stone. He's going to take home the race victory, but it's not the race victory we're bothered about. Who's going to win the championship? Who's going to win the Constructors?
This is unbelievable, even by the standards of sim racing. Oh my word! The graphic that will change everything. Otis Lawrence has been awarded a 1 second penalty for denying racing room, and that will drop him from the position that he needs. And on the last lap in Abu Dhabi, it will change again. Extraordinary. The time penalty given to Otis Lawrence to break his heart, to break Alpine's hearts, and to change the destiny of our largest trophy. It's an unbelievable season of brilliant driving all the way through, and it will be resolved with the greatest turnaround we have ever seen late on. Ismail Fassi will come over the line, but if that penalty is applied and it counts, it doesn't matter what happened on track, because Ismail Fassi is going to come over the line. Here he comes to win 3 races in a row, and he comes out of the final corner to take the checkered flag and then count the positions with me. Benham finds himself over the line, then it's Opmeer, then it's Longuet, then it's Lawrence. But if you add the time, it's not enough. The gap was 3.3 seconds, and it's an absolutely extraordinary end. What is the time gap? Duncan Hoffland across the line was 3.3 seconds, and they're celebrating. It's an absolutely unbelievable end to this one. Ismail Fassi, Jake Benham, Jarno Opmeer, Nicolas Longuet, and Otis Lawrence finishes in 5th. According to our timing table, Duncan Hoffland was 3.3 seconds back. If you apply a 1 second penalty, Lawrence stays in 5th.
If Lawrence stays in 5th, Lawrence wins the championship. Otis Lawrence doesn't think he's won the championship. Ferrari think they've won the championship. I don't think anyone knows what's going on. We'll wait for confirmation in our ears. We'll take a moment to catch our breath.
Let's do it live. Let's add to the drama. Gallery, tell me in my ear, what was the penalty time for Otis Lawrence? Was it 1 second? Give me confirmation here. Was it 1 second? Ismail Fassi is praying. He's won on the road as it stands. But the final classification is up for debate. Otis Lawrence finds himself in 4th place. There was a 17-point lead. According to our information, Ismail Fassi took 15 points out of him.
But Otis Lawrence would take home 8 points if he finished in 6th, which is a difference of 17 points to 25. That would be the difference. If Otis Lawrence finishes in 6th or 5th, we're waiting to get confirmation. Otis Lawrence is waiting for confirmation.
On our timing tower, it says that Duncan Hoffland finished 3.3 seconds back. If you add a second to Otis Lawrence's race time, Okay. They are debating it. I've never seen anything like this, ever. Otis Lawrence, according to our timing information, we need a classified result. There's the elbow out. Ismail Fassi into the side of Otis Lawrence, denying racing room was given to Otis Lawrence. And we finished the season, Kai, and we don't know for certain until we see a final standings who the champion is. Ismail Fassi has taken 15 points. He needs 17 points to take it away.
I could be incorrect, Alex, but what I think has happened here, because from what we were watching, Hofland was 3 attempts from the back of Otis Lawrence. Let's watch on board here. Was it a brave maneuver? Was it a brave dive? Well, it's wheel to wheel even before the apex. You have to leave the racing room, unfortunately, for Otis Lawrence. But what I think's happened here with the finishing order, Duncan Hofland, did he have a 3-second in-game penalty? And will that be removed?
So if it will be removed, it is crucial. It was crucial to see. There's the penalty that's decided things. Ismail Fassi will wait to see the final classification. And Otis Lawrence is complaining. He's saying, right, the investigation is still ongoing for Ismail Fassi. Otis Lawrence has his time confirmed, and the investigation will decide the title. Does Fassi get a penalty? I cannot believe we've finished the season and we do not yet know who the winner is. Race control are going to refer it to the stewards. The stewards are going to decide the title.
One driver is going to walk away very, very happy. One driver is going to be very deflated. Otis Lawrence shrugs the shoulders, smile on the face, no clue what's going on. And Ismail Fassi as well. Even if he doesn't win the championship, he did every single thing that he could have done. He's won every single race in the 4th event. And I do get worried. We're going to watch this replay one more time here from Ismail Fassi's point of view. Let's see here from Otis Lawrence. Let's see the incident from the Alpine. It was a move down the inside, but you have to say, Alex, when you watch it on board there with Otis Lawrence, it does look like a very late dive from Ismail Fassi. Lawrence, because of the racing line, was already committed to turning in, and Fassi just appears on the inside. From Lawrence's perspective, you could argue there is no way he could have backed out of that in time. There's nothing that he could have done.
And so we stay in the balance as it stands. We stay in the balance with this investigation hanging over as we just review the moments again at the final stages. And it's a big, big moment for both of these drivers. It would be the biggest ever comeback that we've seen. So the in-game penalty for Duncan Hofland registered him 3 seconds back. We have to find out whether that counts, and we have to find out whether Fassi is penalised. As we went over the line, Duncan Hofland was close to Otis Lawrence. As it stands, the 1 second penalty would drop him lower. And so it is Ismail Fassi who is going to be the champion if he is cleared for that moment. Kai, if he's penalised, it's party time for Otis Lawrence. And I've never seen a championship go to the stewards' room like this one. But we have gone to the stewards' room, and now a big call to be made, one that will be controversial. We'll bring you the verdict, we'll bring you the graphics, and we'll bring you the fallout. But Ismail Fassi has won the race. He's a 4-time race winner this year, which means that he needs 17 points out of the lead of Otis Lawrence. And Fassi, with that, starting on the hard tyre in the final stage of the season, unbelievable. Jake Benham was a fine second. Jarno Opmeer in third. Nicolas Longuet in fourth. And now we are waiting to hear whether that's a penalty for our champion-elect, but only elect, because we need a final verdict from race control and the stewards.
I don't know if we've ever seen a closer finish to a championship in F1 sim racing. This was the incident on board with Ismail Fassi that Otis Lawrence was given that 1 second penalty from. When you watch on board with Fassi, it looks like a slam dunk penalty. You think, surely he hasn't given him the room over the apex. But if you watch on board here with Otis, Alex, he's already committed to turning into the corner. Fassi dives down the inside, and that's the argument that Otis Lawrence will make. That's the argument that Alpine are going to make, that there's nothing that Lawrence could have done. He couldn't back out that late from the move because of the nature of that double left-hander. You're turning 100% of the time. There's no point you open the steering wheel. Was Fassi wrong to make the dive?
Well, he was trying to pass in unusual places to make that tyre compound advantage work. When you try it in unusual places, it can sometimes cost you. We saw contact in Abu Dhabi last year, in Qatar when we raced there last year between championship contenders, and we saw 1 second penalties dished out for stuff that's similar. Now, not with these high stakes. If we apply a 1 second penalty to Ismail Fassi, it will allow Otis Lawrence the most extraordinary turnaround. Crossing the line, he would find himself suddenly back promoted. There have been celebrations for Ismail Fassi, and the stewards, they have a hard job to do, because it is either going to be our youngest ever champ or the man who finished second last year upgrades his trophy to the largest one. And still we wait, and still we wonder what the outcome will be. And I thought in 2021 I'd attended the messiest Abu Dhabi finale I ever would.
I don't think I've ever seen a decision of 3 penalties decide a championship. You've got the penalty that's under debate for Ismail Fassi. You've got the 1 second penalty for Otis Lawrence that's also under debate for that incident. And Duncan Hoffland, his 3 second penalty, does that get removed? All of these other penalties, if Otis Lawrence keeps his penalty and Duncan Hoffland doesn't get his removed, then it still goes the way of Lawrence. We're just waiting to hear the verdict as we take a breather and can finally relax from what was one of the craziest races.
I'm sitting down. I've never seen anything like this.
I'll join you.
I usually commentate on my feet. You usually sit down. We were up
jumping
and down.
about.
It's just been a giddy, delirious, thrilling championship. It's been so enjoyable. I so admire everyone who gives so many days and years and so much commitment to get things right in the game. And it all comes down to the stewards. The stewards have a guideline, right? They have guidelines that they work with all the time. They have to apply it. And so Ismail Fassi finds himself waiting to be told that the result stands, that Otis Lawrence's 1 second penalty has cost him the title when he goes over the line and he's being cleared. Or will they apply a 1 second penalty that puts the trophy in this man's hands?
It's a tough decision to make as a steward, isn't it? But do not worry, it is completely in the right hands. We do have real-life racing stewards here on the F1 sim racing grid. We actually have British and European karting stewards that I've actually been on the receiving end of a few penalties from one of the stewards. So, you know, no bad blood, no hard feelings, but we'll wait and see what happens here. Danny Beresnay in complete deflation with that incident, finding himself out of the race because of that incident at the final corner, crashing out. He was not able to help his teammate. This was the moment that saw Danny Beresnay go out. It was a very, very late and brave lunge down the inside, just collected by Istvan Pukki. That front right wheel not wanting to stay connected, and you can't drive with 3 wheels, and you can't drive if that is what means it's going to be the Team Constructors Championship. Now, what does this all mean for the Team Constructors Championship as well? We don't know. We don't know at all.
In the canteen earlier on, Ismail Fassi said to me, I think it's going to be chaos.
Well, he wasn't wrong.
Talk about getting a correction, a correct prediction on the air. It was a great drive. I mean, 3 wins in a row to give yourself even a chance at this title that seemed, in all honesty, a foregone conclusion at certain points. Otis Lawrence waiting to find out whether it's the greatest turnaround in event history that we've seen to decide the F1 Sim Racing Championship, or whether Ismail Fassi is given a 1 second penalty, maybe more. I don't think it would be more than a 1 second, though, in truth. Jarno Opmeer, sensational. Just absolutely ridiculous. Even when he gets knocked out from 13th on the grid, you knew he was going to be a factor. He absolutely was.
You can never count out the Flying Dutchman, as Jarno Opmeer was just carving his way through the field. We'll wait upon the results. All the drivers are just mingling and having a chat over what happened in that race, because there's a lot to debrief from every single driver's perspective, every single driver involved in their own race, and there was so much battling going on that everyone had their own ideas. Ismail Fassi, although, walks away on top as your driver that won the Grand Prix, but did he win the championship? The question that everyone's waiting on. Otis Lawrence, you can see nervously bobbing around the room, dancing from driver to driver, asking their opinions, trying to calm his nerves. Well, Otis, there's nothing you can do about it now. The damage and the action's been done on the circuit. Your fate now lies in the hands of the stewards.
It all comes down to this. An in-game penalty. It wasn't an in-game penalty. It was a penalty issued mid-race for Otis Lawrence, the 1 second time penalty. So he got passed by Longue. He kept Hoffman behind, but the 1 second breaks the hearts. That's the way it worked. We thought the move on Barry Borman, who eventually finished in 11th. Okay, here we go. Let's go again. Is this the moment that decides the title? Fassi, Lawrence, the clash, the moment. Is that the moment that we see where the penalty is applied?
See, if you take my opinion as a racing driver, knowing this circuit, although Otis Lawrence does turn very early into the apex there, which forces Fassi over the apex, if you ask us someone that's raced this track many times on multiple different simulators, that move's never going to be on. You never tried that move. You know it's just not going to work off in your favor. But Ismail Fassi, out of desperation, needed to try everything he could to make his way past Otis Lawrence. And Otis Lawrence, rightfully so, needed to do everything he could to keep Ismail Fassi behind him. So who do you go in favor for?
It's a good day to be a commentator and not a steward.
We can make as many judgments as we want.
Yeah, I think it's super close. I really do think it's super close. We want to be making that decision, in all honesty. We don't have a result, but we do have an interview with the man who won the race. Nicola is talking to Ismail Fassi.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, the atmosphere within this room is very tense, very heated. But first of all, I want to say well done for winning the race, Ismail.
Yes, thank you. But at the moment, it's not my concern. That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm just waiting for the official results. In general, I think it was a good race. I made my moves. I had to. They were critical moves because my mediums were going to die at the end of the race. I really don't know what else to say because I just had to overtake. That's the only thing I had to do.
What were your initial thoughts after that collision with Ulash? What was kind of going through your head there?
I firstly, literally in the same corner, I said, I believe I did not turn in. Maybe it was his line, the line just going from the inside to the outside. And immediately asked, do I have to give it back? They said yes, I gave it back. And then on the main straight, he just didn't defend. He just didn't use any ERS. So I'm like, oh, thank you for giving back the position.
I mean, as it stands, as we're stood here right now, I mean, where we spoke to you yesterday, you have won 3 races in a row. Could you believe that we would be stood in this spot right now awaiting a possible world championship being handed to you?
Absolutely not. I think no one would have expected this. No one would have thought of this. I just gave my best, as always. But on this event, I showed what I had since the beginning of the season. It's just that the first 3 events, I couldn't really manage to put it together in Q3. This last event, I qualified P4, P3, P4, and now P2. And it made my life way easier.
And you've got to talk to me about the Ferrari teamwork that's been going on behind the scenes.
I mean, Brazil was teamwork perfectly executed. Today, there was nothing, basically just me pushing. And Barry had to manage his tires because he pitted lap 8, I believe. That's really early. That's why he just ended up finishing P7. I don't know where he finished, but yeah, today was just more about focusing on my race and just giving my best.
I mean, the race, in terms of a dramatic finish, I mean, we can't really ask for much more than this, can we? I mean, as a viewer, I can guarantee you, those watching at home have got their popcorn and enjoying every second. However, completely different feelings for you right now.
I'm not. Well, I'm enjoying my moment.
Are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying my moment. In the end, if I don't end up winning, if I end up winning, I think it will be the same feeling because I did the best I could. I won 3 races in a row, which is really a great achievement, let's say. So I'm happy with whatever result I get, but obviously it would be better if I'm champion.
Well, I mean, we'll soon find out because we're all waiting on this together. So, Ismail, go and relax back with your team. Kai and Alex, I'm going to throw back to you. It must be very nice and calm in your commentary box because here it's chaos.
Oh, I've never wanted to see a classification more, Nicola. Thank you very much. And great spirit for Ismail Fassi, who's done a brilliant, brilliant job. And we will find out what happens and what the order is at the end of the season. there'll be the subtle clue of one driver with their head in their hands and the other one euphoric with the greatest moment of their sim racing career. We are waiting to find out who gets penalised, what gets removed, what stands, and until I see someone lifting a trophy, who knows? Who knows which way it's going to go?
Absolutely no idea, to be honest with you, Alex. But let's just pick apart the season that we've had. Otis Lawrence, outstanding season from the get-go, showed that he was a pure talent. 3 race victories under his belt over the course of this season, and very much rightfully so, within the top 2 contenders for this championship title. Even if he doesn't walk away with this one, he has to be happy with a race victory at Kota, Silverstone and Suzuka in the first event. So has kept himself up at the front end all the way through. One of the highest average finishing positions for any of the drivers. 5.2 is where Otis Lawrence normally found himself finishing on the grid. And just the fact that he's went from 5th in the championship last year to competing up at the front end. Otis Lawrence, although it may not be a championship victory depending on the steward's decision, it's been a season to remember.
Okay, this was the moment that it looked to have slipped away. Fresh medium tyres for Nicholas Longate. Otis Lawrence finding himself suddenly out of position. He needed something. And around the outside he went. Barry Burman and Otis Lawrence side by side into the first turn, and Otis Lawrence then back in position to win the title. And then the verdict coming after that he had a 1 second penalty that would drop him out of the position that he needs to clinch the title. We went over the line with Ismail Fassi celebrating, and now we find out in the near future, we hope, as we look at the debrief. And so much respect for the competitors across the board. Freddie Rasmussen started us off as a race winner, and then in Japan it was Otis Lawrence. Jarno Opmeer looked like he was going to retain his crown when he was the winner in Bahrain and Saudi, and then Ismail Fassi with a memorable victory in Spain, Otis Lawrence in the rain at the Silverstone, and then it was Ozelderim in unbelievable fashion in Belgium.
After Jarno finished third, I was the second out of it. Well, if Otis wins the championship, then it's your PC. And at one point, I was like, I'm trying to compete too with it.
And they're talking down there. Let's hear from Otis Lawrence in conversation with Nicola.
Right, Otis, talk to me. How on earth are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm really confused, as everyone else is. Provisionally, I've won the championship, but I have no idea who's won at the moment. I'm hearing from Aston that they can't get their penalty removed. So provisionally, as things stands, I win the championship because I stay in 5th. So I have no idea what's happening, to be honest. But firstly, massive GGs to Isma. You know, he's done such an amazing job in this event. It's been great to fight him and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the results. Fingers crossed I win it. Provisionally, I should win it. And yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens, isn't it?
I mean, the race as a viewer, I found very entertaining from my point of view. Obviously slightly different for you because it was a bit more stressful. But just talk me through lap 1, because there was a moment there between the two of you, between you and Ismail.
Yeah, it was a good battle, to be honest. He defended really well in the first lap. And then obviously I had Barry, who was just going to completely help Isma all race long. And it's really hard to fight people who drive like 4 seconds off the pace every lap to win the championship. But yeah, I think I deserved it this year. And I know in my heart that if everything goes well with the stewards, and I know I've won it. So yeah, it's been an amazing season. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we get the final result, me being champion.
I mean, everyone watching at home right now is absolutely gripped watching this. I mean, I'm absolutely gripped just by being here standing next to you. We're still waiting to hear with what's going on with the stewards. What do you think's happened?
I have no clue, to be honest. It's a very busy job, obviously. I don't want to be a steward right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I have no clue, to be honest. I'm just as confused as you are.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go and let you chill out while we just carry on waiting. So I'm going to hand back to Tom. Tom, back to you.
Thank you so much, Nicola. Not an easy job chatting to drivers who don't know at this stage if they have won the championship. It is potty, it is bonkers. I absolutely love it. And another part of me is just biting every nail left on my finger. How are you doing right now, Brendan?
I'm not so good, to be honest, because like being in a driver, I can kind of understand what they're feeling, what they're going through at the moment. And that's one of the worst feelings in the world, where you almost prefer to know if you're winning or you're not, to be honest.
Yeah, they're on tenterhooks. It's in this limbo at the moment. However, brilliant race from Ismail Fassi, and Otis was clinging on for as long as possible. My understanding is waiting on Duncan Hoffland at the moment at this stage to understand whether that penalty stays. If it doesn't stay, then he'll overtake Otis, and it's Ismail Fassi's maiden championship. However, the penalty stays. Otis then becomes the champion, the 6th ever different champion in F1 sim racing. But it is absolutely remarkable. It just goes to show how close a season this has been when it comes down to the wire like this.
And it can twist and turn at any moment. We came in, Otis was 27 points in the lead, and it was going like one lap, Otis is going to win it. One lap, Fassi's going to win it. And even in the Constructors' Championship, it was literally moving. At one point, Ferrari were going to win it. And then Red Bull were going to win it. At one point, even I could win it. You know what I mean?
You know who I felt for? I feel for the drivers right now, but the people here at Formula One Media and Technology Centre making the graphics that had to constantly change the permutations. A Red Bull winning the team's championship, a Ferrari, Alpine, it was everyone's at one point.
Honestly, I was watching on the sofa and I was on the edge of that sofa. Honestly, the sofa moved 10 feet forward during that race. I was, the most nervous I've ever been in a race, if I've been in it or not.
Yeah. I mean, remarkable stuff, but we still don't even know the outcome of this. Can we just have a look at these incidents one more time from a Brendan Lee, 2-time world champion perspective, please?
So this is the first one, well, let's say the first major one that we had Ulas battling with Bari and, of course, Ismail Fassi. Fassi tries to go around the outside of Ulas. Ulas is on his old hard. Bari is doing the same strategy that he did in Brazil, trying to back up the pack. Fassi sweeps around the outside and makes contact with Ulas. We don't have it on the clip, but Fassi did give back the position to Ulas later that lap. Whether that's enough to overturn the negative to Ulas's race, we have to see if that's up for the stewards. But yeah, that's the first one in a very much array of clips that we have over my shoulder.
I'm going to give a little quick insight here because while we wait for the stewards, and that is a job I am glad that I am not part of. However, when we're sat watching the race, Brendan's like, I think we'll clip that bit up, we'll clip that bit up. And then for a while there, no more clips. And then towards the end of the race, you were like, clip, please, clip this up. So let's take us through the next one. Next incident, perhaps, Brendan.
We're going to start from second to bottom. The reason is the bottom one you've already seen a million times with Fassi already. So this is Nicolas Longuet going up the inside of Otis Lawrence. What he's going to do is fake to the outside, move to the inside at the last second possible. We call that a dummy in the racing, and just about judging it to perfection, avoiding the back of Otis's car, claiming the apex, claiming the space, and already that move was twisting the fate and the overall outcome of the championship. How close is all that? Another one that is, to be honest, quite important. We see, well, actually that's Fassi coming out side by side with Daniel Beresnay on his pit lane exit and then getting the move done on the traction zone as well. Lap 17 of the race. Any thoughts so far?
No, I mean, my mind is a blur at the moment, but just the passion of watching those drivers throughout the whole season, it just builds, it never ends. At one point I asked you earlier on, I said, hey, what are we going to do in the off-season? And you pointed towards getting involved in the Ferrari competition. And then I was like, hang on a minute, it hasn't even finished yet. But yeah, those are my thoughts so far, Brendan.
Yeah, off-season, to be honest, I reckon, well, when I was a driver anyway, you sort of took a few days off to recuperate mentally, then you understood where the next opportunities are, whether that's in your current contract with your current team, a different team, or maybe even if you're looking to get inspired to be joining F1 sim racing or an F1 sim racing team as well. So like we talked about, that Ferrari series is available if you do want to join up, get involved. And hey, you might even have the displeasure of using my company for a little while.
I love it. When you be yourself, it's fantastic. OK, those are my thoughts at the moment. Next clip, come on.
So we have on this one, Freddie Rasmussen, and we have Alfie Butcher. I haven't actually seen this one, so that's going to be a surprise to me, and diving up the inside very aggressively. And to be honest, that is Otis Lawrence as well, who was fighting for the championship. So that could have gone horribly wrong. And if we just take a little look back at that, and we're going to see, well, to be honest, if you was asking me to do that again, that's probably going to end up in a shunt and cars going sideways. Funny enough, I actually ended up sideways there in 2017, crashing with Sven Zerner, so I would have known the feeling. Fortunately for them, they was able to avoid it and get away relatively unscathed in that situation. The relatively is the heart rate through the roof. Now going on to Ulas, actually, we've already talked about that clip. We've talked about that clip, haven't we? Perfect. Just want to double check myself. This is going to be the clip with Otis and Fassi that we've seen a million times. I was so excited, I asked for it twice. And talking about Fassi, really the man on the move in this situation. Here, he was able to go around the outside of 2 cars in a fantastic move, staying to the right-hand side of the curbing, opening up the space. Alfie was battling with Frederick. Frederick distracted. Alfie distracted, and look at this, using the fresh grip of these medium compound tyres and able to squirt the throttle, get a bit of traction, and up the inside we go. Really, to be honest, I have to give full credit to Otis and Ismail Fassi. True drives of a champion. One was defending for their life, and one was attacking for their life.
Yeah, I mean, when it started, Ismail Fassi was in P2, Barry Broman was down in P4, and they had Otis Lawrence alongside in P3. And at that point, you're thinking to yourself, well, the plan was working perfectly for Ismail Fassi and Barry Broman. Barry Broman got the overtake and then just held things back, which we saw in Brazil. That penalty got rescinded. How important is that penalty now? They've got rescinded. But at that point, it was working perfectly, the plan. What happened to Barry during the race? Because he dropped off a little bit, and that obviously affected the team's championship.
So Barry went for that really aggressive undercut, taking those hard compound tyres really early. What gave him that short-term benefit of getting that track position, but ultimately on those compounded tyres, they just wore away, and he didn't have the grip, pace and performance to keep up any longer and was falling back through the field. It's like a snowball effect. Once you start losing one position, everyone else is hungry and they really just send it in at that moment, and Barry became on the negative end of that situation. But yeah, again, credit to Barry, by the way, because he was able to come back in and help his teammate and really do a good job. Something I don't want to rub salt in the wound, or I don't want to be negative, because I feel really bad for Bresnay because, well, it's his birthday and he crashed out on his birthday.
It was a late lunge, wasn't it, really?
Yes, a very late lunge, and we'll get onto that in just a second. In fact, we would need Daniel Bresnay to be the height to reach it all the way up at the top. And yeah, I just feel bad for him because it's easy to get overwhelmed in a championship battle. You see your teammate is fighting it out. Remember, you're side by side with your teammate, and for sure he would have spent some time learning about Otis's race. And really, he just sent it, to be honest, and the postman was not home in this situation.
But in that moment, so he sent it. Was there a kind of a moment of thinking about the team championship, like I need to move up the order here?
I think for sure, because at the moment he's P9, Duncan has just overtaken him, Joris is behind him on the medium compound tyres. So realistically, he's going to fall to P10 in a few corners time anyway. So it was basically like do or die, effectively, up the inside, into the side of Nicolas Longuet. Then, ironically, it was Longuet's teammate, Istvan Pukki, who took the rest of his car off, and that's a sideways Pirelli tyre. I advised him to be the other way around.
Yeah, it's got to be facing forward, really. And then, fascinatingly enough, Nico Longuet goes on to get the overtake over Otis Lawrence up on the inside, which you just pointed out. He had the apex, and he used it to his advantage to turn into that and get the lead on Otis Lawrence. Just in that moment, you feel like, as a driver, that's it, season done. How has it ended like this? Ismail Fassi said it was going to be chaos. It definitely was chaos out there. Could it have been a smoother race in any way, Brendan?
For sure. I mean, they could have all just tasted it like a Sunday drive and got an ice cream. But at the end of the day, these are paid professionals going for world championship status and glory within that as well. So they're always going to go through it. And to be honest, people want to go into the off-season on a high. Even if they're talking about contracts, they're going to try and negotiate for more money if they had a good final race. If they have a bad final race, the teams are going to try and dock them down a bit of money. That's just normal negotiations when you're applying for a team, right? Or a job in some situations. So they want to go out on a high and really make these final laps count. But yeah, it's always going to be chaos on the final.
For the neutral, loving that. I don't think I've seen an epic way to end a championship. It comes down to Ismail Fassi and Otis Lawrence, both, in my opinion, worthy winners. That's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah, they're both worthy winners. I think it's quite interesting how they went about the season differently. Whereas Otis kind of went about this sort of raw, brute force of pace, right? And making these really extravagant, clinical overtakes, often around the outside. Whereas Fassi kind of went the strategic route and picking up the positions along the race. And it's interesting because it all came to a head, really, didn't it?
It did come to a head. I believe the decision has been made. This is the driver's standings after the adjudication. Here it is. Unbelievable. There you go. Otis Lawrence, your champion for 2026. This is phenomenal. What a wait they've all had. A worthy winner. However, Ismail Fassi, 3 wins back-to-back. And now that's a smile on his face because he did everything he possibly could there. 156 points to Ismail Fassi's 154. 3 wins this season for Otis Lawrence from Kota, Silverstone and Suzuka. He said he thought he deserved it. And boy, oh boy, what does it mean to him? Ismail Fassi finishing second again in the championship. Coming into event 4, you would have said to yourself, there's no way that Ismail Fassi has got a chance. But that is how close this series is. And I wouldn't be surprised if Otis Lawrence headed over to Ismail Fassi very soon to give him a hug. But what does it mean? He becomes the 6th different champion in F1 sim racing, Brendan.
I think it's written all over his face, right? And Otis often gives us really grand responses, and when he's celebrating or upset for a good or bad result. But I think it's going to mean the world to him. He literally finished his school last week, and now he's a Formula 1 sim racing world champion. You can see him by his team's rig, by his team's sponsors, Alpine Sim Racing as well, and his team huddled around him. To be honest, and now we can see the
I knew it was going to
camaraderie.
happen because they just speak so highly of one another. Coming down to the wire, it's definitely a championship ending race that we will talk about for months to come. Probably by the time we start next season for 2027, we'll still be talking about this moment. But I tell you one thing, I tell you what, F1 sim racing, it is in a very strong position right now. You can't do any more than that. Ismail Fassi, 3 wins in event 4, and has hugs all round for everyone. Former team member at Williams, Ismail Fassi moving across to Ferrari, gave everything. Definitely a worthy champion in my opinion. But it's Otis Lawrence who's going to be lifting the trophy very shortly. Wow, take a breath. This has been absolutely epic. Ruben Pedreno heading in now to have a quick chat, but no doubt in Spanish as well, with Alex of Williams and Ruben Pedreno, formerly of Williams. And I would like to now know, Alex Jakes called on that race. It had a bit of everything. I described it as a bit balmy at times. Alex Jakes, what did you make of that final race of the 2026 season?
A genuinely amazing moment, but this is it. The moment arrived for Otis Lawrence. He had to wait after this, but he crossed the line to become the sim racing world champion in Formula 1, our youngest ever. And at this moment, he still didn't know. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and finally the standings, Kai, read Otis Lawrence, champion.
The Welsh Dragon roars for the first time in F1 sim racing as Otis Lawrence, your youngest ever F1 sim racing champion, is finally crowned. If you wanted to keep it on tender hooks any longer, I think he might have exploded with nervousness. Otis Lawrence can finally celebrate with the team as he takes home the Drivers' Championship.
Congratulations to Otis Lawrence and Ismail Fassi for a season finale to remember. The good grace in which he took the result, a credit to him, his team and his family. Otis Lawrence is the champion in the most extraordinary finish you will ever see. His 5th place, enough in the end to take the title by 2 points. That's the driver's title. We need an answer for the team's title as well. It hangs in the balance. We will bring you the result in a few moments' time. will crown Red Bull the champions of the world once again for the 4th year in a row. Alpine sensational to get close, but they couldn't take Red Bull's title away, and the prize pot is heading to Red Bull. Otis Lawrence has won the driver's title, Red Bull have won the team's title, and that is the most extraordinary end to a season you will see in F1 sim racing.
It's hard to dethrone two drivers with a combined career total of over 2,000 points. Jarno Opmeer with a barnstormer of a drive through the field, finishing 3rd on the road. That was enough to get Red Bull the Constructors' title. Danny Beresnay with his DNF, just unfortunately not being able to score any points for Alpine. That could have been the deciding factor. That could have won the championship for Alpine, but they can't be too upset as they still have one trophy heading home.
It's been an incredible season. It's been an incredible championship. Red Bull retain their crown, and Otis Lawrence is the world champion for F1 sim racing. All of his promise delivered in the end, but it took a long time to get the verdict. And there's an entire room just from where, a couple of meters from where we're talking to you from, of friends, family, team members. They were uncertain of who had won it. And in the end, the name atop the standings by the finest of margins. 2 points sees Otis Lawrence the moment that gets the job done. Kai, we're now looking at Jarno Opmeer on a charge. He started in 13th, and these are some of the moves that retained Red Bull their crown.
These were the moves that were the moment that were necessary for Red Bull to take home the Constructors' Championship. Jarno Opmeer, an unstoppable force waving through the field like a tsunami taking over. Jarno Opmeer, the Flying Dutchman. Nobody could stop the horns of the Red Bull as he made his way through the field. That was the final move that got it done. Making his way past Barry Borremand, Jarno Opmeer secured the final step on the podium, but secures the $750,000 prize pool for Red Bull Racing.
Well, Red Bull will be pleased to have delivered, but an incredible outcome here, and one that we could have gone either way. We didn't know what was going to happen across the line. A reminder for you, and it's been a while. Half an hour ago, Ismail Fassi crossed the line at that moment. He believed to win his maiden title. Gave a great interview with Nicola where he said no matter what happens, it wasn't meant to be his title. He comes across the line, he believes he's done it. The investigations for multiple penalties, multiple drives investigated, and in the end, the decision that Otis Lawrence finds himself in 5th position and the champion. And that is an incredible run we have seen. An amazing outcome to a festival of motor racing that's taken place across 4 events, and now everyone gathers together. It is absolutely a twist, and we had no idea which names were going up. For the drivers, Red Bull have taken the team's championship. Jarno Opmeer with a performance to savor. He says goodbye to his crown. He shows us all his class in retaining his teams.
He may not take home the driver's title, but he can't help but walk away with another as the team's title goes the way of Red Bull. Jarno Opmeer still showing class. Although he may not be the driver on top, they are the team on top. They're the strongest pairing. All the drivers, all the teams were saying that Red Bull were the team to watch. They're the team that are going to be impossible to beat. And in the end, you have to say that it was true. Jarno Opmeer and Freddie Rasmussen all the way throughout this season have been unbelievable. They've been up at the front end. Yes, they've had their ups. Yes, they've had their downs, but they tackle every race like it's a fresh set of paper and starting to write with new ink as Jarno Opmeer creates history for Red Bull, being the first team to win 4 Constructors' Championships.
Wow, an amazing achievement for them, and Ismail Fassi is taking it in his stride. He thought he had produced a moment of pure escapology to win 3 in a row and take the title. As it is, he falls 2 points short with a memorable campaign. Our runner-up last year, our runner-up this year, but he is going to be a name in contention for the title next year as well, you can be sure. And everyone in that arena is taking a very, very deep breath after a result that will be poured over and poured over and poured over, and it is nearly time to crown our champion. It is an incredible moment to close out the season. Otis Lawrence kneeling at the front of his rig, crown the champion. He's now moved to the other room, and Ismail Fassi can be proud of the way not only he drove in this event, but the way he's acquitted himself in these moments, just falling short.
One of the most unbelievable comebacks I've ever seen in sim racing history. Ismail Fassi, it almost looked impossible. He took on the impossible and said that anything is possible, winning 3 races back to back to back. We kept going on about last year, how incredible it was that Thomas Ronhaar got pole position 3 times in a row. Never mind taking home 3 race victories in a row. The Spaniard has just been on such amazing form over the course of these 3 races and couldn't have rounded out the season any better. Circumstances completely out of his grasp decide the championship, but Ismail Fassi has to be proud of the drive that got him there.
And for Otis Lawrence, a sensational rookie season with multiple victories, including here. Well, it wasn't good enough to win today, and the strategy saw him finish the highest of the hard runners, but in the end it was enough. A 17-point gap came down to just 2, and everyone is discussing the end of the season, and will be for some time. Otis Lawrence survives and hangs his name alongside the greats in F1 sim racing. He had to work very, very hard for it, but he is nearly there and ready to receive his trophy in a few moments' time. Everyone being ushered into the order. Deep breath for everyone, and my thanks to our whole team before we get to this end of the broadcast, because they have been sensational at unpicking a really confusing situation. Let's have a look at the race classification. An unbelievable finish to the season. 3 victories in a row for Ismail Fassi to put him on the brink of the title. He crossed the line and we did not know. Jake Benham, we were waiting for him to have some luck. He finally did in second. Then Jarno Opmeer, Nicholas Longe, and the new champion, Otis Lawrence, in 5th. Duncan Hoffland in P6, and then it is Butcher, Gao, Tormala, and Ronhaar for a long time. Whether Otis Lawrence would be 5th or 6th was crucial. If it went to count back, Ismail Fassi was the champion. 42 minutes of driving, half an hour of waiting, and a new name on the honours board. Second page, Barry Borromond went very aggressive with the strategy. It meant that he was going to fall back, but all of the time that he built for a gap for his teammate to race into, he took it and he won the race. Then it was Tico Hardy, then it was Joris Krozen. Our classification to close out the season. Ruben Pedreno, then Elzelderim, Pookie Rasmussen, finding himself falling down the order, and Danny Beresne, who crashed out.
What a race. We can finally take a breather. We know the results, and Ismail Fassi and Barry Borromond just falling a little bit short, shooting a few pieces for socials as the race comes to a conclusion and as the season comes to a conclusion. It gets a little bit emotional, doesn't it, Alex? Especially when so much hard work has been poured into every race, not just from the drivers. Yes, they put in the hours on the simulators. Yes, they put in the hours at home, but all of the team and support that they have surrounding them, team members, family members, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, everybody goes into this system, and that is how we finally come out with a victor. Ismail Fassi and the Ferrari crew have to be proud. At one moment, it was looking as if it was going to be Fassi champion and also a Scuderia Ferrari champion. But although, after the stewards have their word, it's a completely different decision.
It's time for the crowning moments in the championship battle. Let's send it to the presentation and Nicola.
So, how was that for a finale? We have finally made it. This is it. This is the moment. Please welcome your Formula One Sim Racing World Champion for 2026. It's Otis Lawrence. New t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's sick. No, I'm so happy. My team is just amazing. The Alpine guys, you know, since I joined a year ago, these guys are amazing. Danny Bresnay, Josh Ado, Tomek, Robert, Ben, Josh, Seb. I can mention anyone, Nick, Harvey as well, the GOAT. There's so many people. Benz, Piotr, Andre. There's so many people that I could mention. I hope I didn't miss anyone out, but my team is just the best team. You know, I just can't believe it.
Talk me through your entire season. When I first met you back at DreamHack in Birmingham, you were on top of the world, celebrating, screaming, running around. As soon as we got to event 3, got a little bit more serious. And especially event 4, these last few races, you've been a bit more focused, a bit more calm, and a bit more, I would go with hyper-focused is what you've been. You haven't been the cheeky chappy that we've been expecting. But now, you can relax. But talk me through it.
Oh, it's just the most nerve-wracking event of my life. To be honest, you know, there was many times I thought I lost it. And, you know, I have to give a big shout out to Ismail. What a driver he is. He'll win a championship one day. I'm telling you that. He's such an amazing driver. He deserved just as much as I did today. So I'm super thankful. You know, I have a great fight with him because he's such an amazing driver. And yeah, I'm just super thankful. And yeah, the pressure's never been higher. But now I can kind of take it at a little bit of ease because I've won one already. And next year I'm going to try and go back to back.
So talk me through the rest of your evening with your team, please, because this is going to be a wild night, I'm expecting.
I'll probably just go back to the Airbnb and sleep. No, I mean, no, we'll have some food. We'll enjoy it. You know, have some fun, especially as the season's over. Let's chill out now for a bit. And yeah, let's just enjoy it as much as I can because this is insane.
Well, before you do that, I would like to invite you up onto your podium, Otis Lawrence. This is yours. Stand atop it. I'd also like to welcome Dan Harding from Formula One to hand over the trophy. Otis Lawrence, your sim racing Formula One world champion for 2026. That was fantastic, Otis. I want you to carry on celebrating, but obviously at the same time, we have had a team championship taking place at the same time, and we do have our winners, and we want to throw you over to the highlights for the team's champions.
tell you what, we have been treated to an incredible F1 Sim Racing Championship 2026. You can see the team around me. It is, of course, Red Bull crowned your 2026 champions. I'm going to come straight here to two former champions. Jarno Opmeer, the GOAT, they call you in F1 Sim Racing. What does it mean to you to be picking up this trophy right now?
Means a lot, of course. I think the only team that has won twice in a row before was Red Bull as well. So yeah, huge accomplishment to do it again. I think it shows that the team we have now, we can consistently fight for wins and titles. So yeah, next year we'll back and try again, of course. And I think we have a great team to do it.
Name that team. They're right behind you, looking resplendent in Red Bull colours. Who do you want to give the thanks to?
Everyone. I mean, Sabi is here more for the show, but
Sebastian Job is just here for show. That's outrageous for the third driver. But no, name check everyone, please.
Yeah, of course, Liam, my engineer. Andre is Freddie's engineer, and then we've got the Red Bull World Team Management behind us, who sort everything out for us in the end of the day, and yeah, take a huge workload off our backs. So.
It's a team effort. I know that you've had a brilliant teammate throughout. On pole, I know you were disappointed. We chatted just off air, but an opportunity to go away, come back for 2027, regroup, knowing that you're the team's champions. Freddie?
Yeah, hopefully next year will be better for me.
Fingers crossed. Look at that. Listen, I tell you what, I'm going to give you this trophy. I'm going to run out the way. As soon as you lift that in the air, I'm going to get you to come in a little bit. Pyrotechnics are about to go off. Give it up for your team champions for 2026. It's Red Bull! Red Bull, 4 titles, no other team has managed to do that. Liam Parnell taking the trophy. Your race engineer and Andre Kunkman. Brilliant stuff from the guys. Well, there you have it. Top stuff. Well done, GG's to Red Bull. I know you'll be back stronger for next year, Freddie and Jarno. Maybe even another title. Well, look, we wrap things up. It is amazing, the support that's been through this whole series for 2026. As these guys say, we'll be back even better for next year in 2027. I'll get a massive cheer from everyone here at the Formula One Media and Technology Centre as we round out an incredible season. Give it up for your champion, Otis Lawrence, and Red Bull, your team's champions. We'll see you next year. But what a way to round out the F1 Sim Racing 2026 season!